Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into a crime that has no witnesses, leaves no physical evidence, and really exists only in the mind of the victim. It's the story of a detective hunting a ghost in the machine.
So let's just dive right in with a pretty chilling journal entry. This isn't your typical criminal's logbook. No, this is the meticulous record of an artist whose medium is pure human anxiety. It perfectly sets the stage for the new kind of predator we're about to meet.
Our story doesn't start with a bang, but with a whisper. It all begins with a software developer named Maya Chen, who is absolutely convinced she's losing her mind, and she's actually brought the data to prove it. This is a case that kicks off right at that unsettling crossroads of personal memory and public technology.
Just try to imagine this for a second. Every single morning, on the exact same train, a little piece of a deeply personal memory just plays for you and only you. It's like a ghost in the public machine of the London Underground. It's impossible, it's illogical, and it would be incredibly unsettling.
But see, Maya is a developer. Her brain runs on logic, not on panic. So instead of just filing a frantic report, she shows up at the police station armed with a spreadsheet. It details the exact times, the train car numbers, and even audio recordings of, well, absolute silence. So Maya's meticulously documented paranoia lands on the one desk in all of London that might not just laugh it off: the tiny, underfunded ambient crime unit, led by the brilliant detective inspector Anya Sharma. Their whole specialty? Crimes that exploit the very fabric of our modern world, turning the background noise of our lives into a weapon.
And this really sets up our central conflict, doesn't it? On one side, you have the artist, Leo Voss, whose whole goal is to create this quiet, private chaos. And on the other, D.I. Sharma, whose entire career is built on finding that one logical thread in a whole sea of madness. It's a real battle of psychological manipulation versus psychological insight.
So, here's the crucial question. How does Sharma's team turn Maya's spreadsheet, this record of potential delusion, into the actual key that unlocks this entire, bizarre case?
Well, they follow a really clear, methodical process. And what's so fascinating here is step 3. Buried deep in the ultrasonic range of Maya's silent recordings, they find something amazing: a proprietary digital watermark. It's a signature from a bankrupt immersive art company called Orascape. And just like that, they have a solid lead. And this is the tech that makes the impossible possible. A parametric speaker. It's basically a sound laser. It lets someone whisper in a single person's ear from all the way across a crowded, noisy train car, and nobody else hears a single thing. It's incredible.
Okay, so now they know how the crime is being committed, but they still have to figure out who is doing it. And to catch an artist like Leo Voss, they've got to build a trap that speaks directly to his vanity, to his belief that he can manipulate anyone's reality. So first they use Maya herself as the bait. They fit with a super sensitive microphone, and sure enough, the artist just can't resist his favorite canvas. They get a lock on the signal and trace it back on CCTV to this completely forgettable guy in a beige coat. He never shows a device, he doesn't even look up.
This is where Sharma shows her genius. She realizes her opponent isn't some common criminal. He's a performer, and he craves a reaction. So she decides to design the perfect one. They create a fake online profile for an undercover officer, and they seed it with a very specific irrational anxiety trigger, an obscure cricket score from some lost championship match.
The stage is now set for the final act, and it's all going to play out on the 7:42 a.m. train. It's a tense, totally surreal, and almost completely silent confrontation.
So the trap is set. The undercover officer is in position, and you've got 4 other plainclothes officers on that train. They're not armed with guns, though. They're armed with directional microphones, all ready to triangulate the signal the second it appears.
And Leo Voss, who apparently scours these anxiety forums for inspiration, he takes the bait, hook, line, and sinker. He finds the profile, and he broadcasts that specific cricket score he found online, beaming it directly and silently into the officer's ear. The officer's reaction, this genuine panicked freeze, it's flawless. It gives Leo the exact artistic satisfaction he's been craving. He has no idea that his perfect performance is also his final curtain call.
And that's when Sharma makes her move. She doesn't draw a weapon or shout police. She just walks up to him and delivers this devastating artistic critique, speaking his language. And in that one moment, Leo knows the game is up. Somebody finally understood his craft.
The takedown on the train was totally silent, but the evidence they find back at Leo's apartment, well, that speaks volumes about the true nature and terrifying scale of his disturbing art.
When they search his apartment, they find this disturbing library. His hard drives aren't cataloged by victims' names. No, they're cataloged by the emotions he engineered. Dread, confusion, domestic nostalgia. They find the custom speaker, the phone app, and journals detailing everything.
So what in the world do you charge a man like this with? Well, the prosecutors had to get really creative, using an old law in a completely new way. They successfully argued that a weapon doesn't need to draw blood to shatter a person. Sometimes all it has to do is whisper.
And really, this is the core takeaway. While this particular case is fictional, the technology and the psychological vulnerability it exposes are very, very real. It forces us to ask a pretty unsettling question. In a world that's saturated with invisible signals, the next weapon might not be one you can see, but one you are made to feel. So who's listening to you?